Well, hello there, Mr. Moth. And hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Satisfactory and our quest for that 1000 nuclear pasta and the process of the mess that is going to get to that point, hopefully, eventually. So, today I'm standing up on top of the arch that is in the middle of the green fields because, well, we're going to start today over here in this area. My intention is to strip everything out of the green fields area that we can in order to be able to make those pastas. And we're at to the point now where it's the fun part, which is, well, we need to make an awful, and I mean an awful lot of copper. And by I mean an awful lot of copper, I mean we need 12,000 copper ingots. So the plan for today has been, well, I'm standing up here trying to avoid looking a specific direction because I'm pretty sure you all want to know what I did in between episodes, and it spent way too much time building a building and hanging up a bunch of stuff, so we're going to kind of look at that here in a little bit. But essentially what I want to do is I want to kind of start over here by explaining why this area is kind of until you can get into late game, because there are so many normal and impure nodes in this area that it's really hard to produce any kind of material. So I apologize, this is not yet decorated. We need to, we'll probably, I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, how I want to do this kind of stuff. I'm contemplating doing a live stream just to kind of come through and maybe decorate some of the less decorated areas, or maybe I'll just do a kind of a episode or two. I don't know yet. I haven't made up my mind, but I have a nice big flat spot over there that we're going to start with some of the process of making copper. So what I want to do is I want to pop this open, our map, and I want to hide the menu really quickly. One thing I do need to do, and I keep forgetting to do, can I scroll, please? Thank you. Is I need to go open up the radio tower research, because the radio towers work a considerable amount better than they used to, and they also show you nodes and whatnot on the map as you go. So as you notice, there are a few drones in the area that weren't in the area, and again, like I said, we'll go take care of those in a minute. We'll go talk to them in a minute. I gotta go find those crates. I've been busy doing silly things, and I've been making a mess kind of stuff because I thought I was going to do something one direction, and then I started realizing distances and amounts of belts that we were going to need to run, so I decided against what I was going to do. So let me do this real quick. We're going to hit V and to do copper. And I'm over here for a reason. That should get, well, don't look that way. All right, so that should get the 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4 right, 3 right here. There is another 2 or 3 right down in this little section right here. And one thing that we didn't do, or one thing that we can't do, is, like I said, we've got a bunch of copper right here. There's copper right here. There is another copper node right here. There is another copper node and a bunch of iron node. I should say there's copper and iron node there. Copper and iron nodes over here. There's another copper up here somewhere, although it's an impure node. I don't know if I'm going to go after it. My issue was I didn't know whether or not we were going to be able to make enough copper out of this area to have to not go back to someplace else. So I know there's several other copper nodes in this area down here by the blue crater that if we have to, my whole goal is I'm trying to not train copper or copper powder to this factory. I know it sounds kind of silly, but we've done nothing but trains. We've done nothing but things. I want to finish belting everything that we need into that factory over there. So the thing is, what we're going to do at this point, and why we're kind of standing over here and looking at that piece of concrete over there and all the stuff around here, is that I have decided that it makes way more sense to make as much copper powder on various sites as we possibly can, and then, well, belt the copper powder in instead of belting in the copper ores and iron ores and things. So as you can see, I've kind of started working on a thing over here that was originally full of all kinds of stuff, and I kind of got to that point where I'm sitting there going, what are you doing? You're just wasting your time having too much fun running belts everywhere. But there's belts all the way over there. There's belts down there. There's some lift towers. There's some other things. And what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to at least try to immediately consolidate some of that stuff into one belt. So over here, by the time it was all said and done, there's 3 600 belts of copper coming out of just this area. So there's a, we'll pick him up in a second. there are 2 normal copper nodes on this end of the map. One is right there, and one is right there. And then right over there underneath this, you can just barely see them right there. Scroll in. Those are 2 impure nodes that, when taken care of, are 600 copper. So what we'll do is we're going to have 1,800 copper right here. Well, there's already iron right here. There's an iron mine right there. There's an iron mine right there. There's an iron mine right there. There's iron all over the place. There is no reason for me to haul this copper any further than the location that we're currently at. So I chose that spot right over there because it's a, well, kind of in a good spot for the rest of the area, and it's also reasonably sizable. So we'll let this autosave go through. And they're getting longer and longer and longer and longer. But anyhow, what that'll do basically is that'll take 1,800 copper ore that would end up being turned into 30 something, what is it, 3600 copper ingots, and condense that all down into 1/600 belt of copper powder. So we're going to go ahead and do that out here. In between episodes, likely I'm going to go ahead and get the copper node that's over there, and then the other copper node that's down in behind this area over here. There's, like I said, there's a pure copper node over here. There's a normal copper node right here, and there is a 3 or 4 nodes right there, another one right here, another one right here. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to make I'm just going to take whatever's right here and turn it into what we can turn it into. And then since the train line runs right there, I'm just going to hook that belt. It'll end up being like a 260 belt of copper powder. I'll just run that down over the line over here and catch up with this mess over here. This one down here, we have a belt line already that runs up the side of that crater and out this direction. So I'll just go ahead and grab that copper, run it up over the hill, and then we'll build another copper smelting facility thingy right in here that will turn all of that stuff in there. And then I'll run a bunch of iron or whatever's left of the iron down in this area. Like, I've already got this stuff set up. I've got most of the mines up here set up, ready to go, and I was going to haul it all down here and just have one big stupid facility down here, and then I started realizing just exactly how many belts of copper we were talking about, and it was going to be an utter nightmare to make it look decent. So we're going to start by doing that. Anyhow, we're going to start by doing that here in a minute. The first thing I'm going to do, and I know this is going to be a kind of a thing, is we're going to take a run over to what I did over there. So let me grab this, and I will see you guys over there. All right, so we're coming in on that area a little bit. I'm going to kind of do the thing. Like I said, I kind of got a little overexcited, and did the wrong thing. So, but at least some of this is going to be usable for later on. But I did pull a whole bunch of stuff out of that area thinking I was going to build a big monstrosity of a thing down here. And how are you still alive? Oh, because you guys keep coming. Did you run off the edge? Wow, he lived. Have one of those. I don't know how he lived. They usually, if they fall that far, they die. But anyhow, I did a kind of a silly little thing where I ran a whole bunch of stuff down into that area. Some of this we're going to need. We're still going to need enough to be able to manufacture the copper and the copper powder out of the copper that is down here. So I do need 900 iron, so that'd be a belt and a half of stuff for that copper right there. But let's go take a look at the silliness that I did over here. So we're going to kind of get a glimpse of it here in just a second. Let me see if I can get on top of this rock. Well, looky there. There's another one. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye, my friend. I still haven't been up here to pick these up. What's really funny is I haven't used a single one of these. I haven't even researched the purple power slugs. Every one of them I've gathered, I've just been kind of collecting. So we're going to set them up as mascots and eventually thingies. So let's take a look at the monster, or at least the silly thing that I thought I had to build up here to try to kind of come up with a way of making things work. And while you're at it, tree, you're in my way. Please go away. That's what I came up with, at least for right now. This is what we're going to do. So it's got to kind of, again, everything is in it that needs to be in it other than the copper and the, well, some of the electricity. But that's kind of what she looks like. I like how it, like, kind of just, I got some little legs going down underneath, kind of tying it into the rock. And I need to go over here. We'll go over there in a second. But essentially all I did was just use a whole bunch of ramps and a whole bunch of walls and a lot of concrete and a lot of glass covered concrete, or the foundations. So the top section is fun because that's where all the drones are, and we've already got a couple of drones hooked up to it. So let's take a run over here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this once we get this completely sorted, and I'm going to wrap it really close around the outside edge. I just kind of ran it like this because I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with the rail line, but I did know I wanted to run the rail line around it. So I think, whoop, nope. I think it looks pretty decent for the time being. I think there's going to be some more stuff that we're going to have to play with. But for now, I mean, just straight on, you can see, what is it? 3 sides of the particle accelerators. So as they spin, you're going to be able to see them do what they need to do. It's, again, very boring, very minimalistic kind of a thing, but I did kind of build a little entrance for it here that I still need to kind of finish. But essentially what I want to do is I want all of the copper powder to come into these, drop down, go in, and then they'll go under into this thing. Now, the belting was kind of fun. So essentially what we did is we kind of split things various places. Because we needed to bring a certain thing from the bottom and a certain thing from the top, we're going to have stuff going upwards and then downwards. And I've already started preloading in the pressure conversion cubes, or at least preloading them into the belts. And it's a pretty big, I like it. I spent a good long time goofing around trying to make things somewhat okay looking. There's still some more work we need to do, but all of these are on. They're all charged. We have access all the way around. I did have a little bit of belting in and a little bit of other things. Just kind of building until we got to where we needed to go. I always manage to forget about hypertubes. I continuously always manage to forget about hypertubes, and in this kind of a situation, I probably need to put a hypertube in all the way up to at least the top so that I can get all the way up to the top. But on every corner of the system since every corner of the building on the right-hand side, I guess the right-hand side of as looking at one of the particle accelerators, there is a staircase to get you all the way to the top. Because up top, once we get up here, is where we have some more of the fun stuff happening. So I went ahead and got some drones set up. Again, we already have the drones in as far as hauling the pressure conversion cubes in. So we got plenty of pressure conversion cubes in. Hello, emails. Why must you bother me? They come in, split out, go around. And of course, at least this method, and this is what I love about it, at least this method of transportation sits here and waits until it's needed before it flies off, unlike the trucks and the trains. So once you have this inventory loaded up full of stuff, and once you have that inventory loaded up full of stuff, your little drone just sits here and waits. So over here, this is going to be the drone that we're going to use to deliver the actual nuclear pasta back to the base. I had a contemplation of actually moving the space elevator over here and setting it up right in the middle, but I think that kind of takes the fun out of it. That looks pretty cool. I like that. And again, on this side, we have the batteries that are coming in to run the rest of the system. So I did have to put another battery or drone port up over there to deliver batteries to this area. So the one thing nice about that is because I'm delivering batteries to here, I don't have to deliver batteries over there to that factory, which is right over there. Just barely see it right there. So when this one takes off, it already has plenty of batteries to get back over there and back. The really funny thing about this one is it doesn't fly through that mountain. It flies around the outside edge of the map and then comes back, unlike some of the other drones. Like that one, it goes straight up through the top and then right back down. I rode it and it flung me halfway across the map. It was hilarious. So it'll be interesting to see where this one flies. So it's built. It's ready to go. It's plumbed. It's wired. It's about as pretty as I think I want it to be. And I think for right now, we're going to leave it. There's going to be a little bit more goofing. I think there's going to be some minor decoration here and there that I'm going to do. There is no glass in it other than the floors. So that's pretty cool on that end of it. I did leave the sides open. There's ramps. I don't know why I put ramps on the edges. I think it looks pretty nice. And of course you have your, handrails, guardrails for those of you that think you got to fall off. But let's see if we can get all the way back down to the bottom without killing ourselves. And I got a little bit of leftover parts that I'm going to be leaving right there until we need them. Again, these are just nothing more than concrete that's just kind of run out to the edge. And something that I did notice is that I painted them asphalt, or I used the asphalt, a variant of those, so that it would be kind of black. I still think I want to do something further down underneath of it somehow. Like I kind of want to make the bottom kind of slope further under or whatever. Let's see if I can get over here without dying. I do want to do something more to the bottom of it, but I kind of got to a point where it's like, look, just quit because you're going to lose your mind otherwise. So the really weird thing about these, like I said, these is asphalt concrete. If I grab one of these and I put it right here just so you can look at it, the sides are the same color as regular concrete. So I had to go and paint all of those things. Not only did I have to make them asphalt so that I could get that nice flat texture, I had to paint the sides black to match the top. So that's kind of the sides of your concrete match the texture that you use. As you notice, I've kind of got a green variant going on because of, well, I mean, obviously why, but yeah, that was a little aggravating to try to get sorted. So there's a little bit of an area underneath in here in case we need to do some more belting or other things like that. And pretty much after that, it's just kind of, we're ready for copper powder. So I think with today, we're going to go try to spend a little bit of time tearing apart some more stuff. I really liked how this kind of turned out. I was kind of just goofing around and kind of came up with something, and it did work. At least it does work for the time being. So my whole point today is I want to get at least 600 of the copper going. 600 of the copper will run one side of this completely plus one of the other sides. If we can get that done, we're good. So I'll see you guys back over in the other. Why are these things not full? They are full. Heart attack for a second there. I thought those lines showed all the time, but I guess that's what the lines look like. Anyhow, I'll see you guys over in the Greenfields, well, factory area, and we're going to go ahead and make a little bit of copper. So, see you over there. Okay, so again, this should be a relatively simple, easy build, and I'm going to replicate the same kind of thing everywhere that I can. Doing the math, looking at the availability of various nodes around what's in the green fields is just off to the edges of it. We should be able to get all of the copper we need. Should. Theoretically. I mean, you know how this all goes. I'm doing this based on the fact, like everything else we've used, we've built it all to where it's considerably doing more than what it's supposed to. Like this factory is supposed to be able to make 20 of the heavy modular frames a minute, and I think it makes 21 or 22. The fuse modular frames makes 21 or 22. The radio control unit portion of that makes 45 when we need 40. So everything has been kind of overbuilt. For this factory, we're going to do the numbers exactly because the numbers are easy. The numbers are easy. So every one of those particle accelerators needs 100 copper per minute, or 200 over 2 minutes, because it's going to take it 2 minutes to cycle correctly. Well, 100 copper goes into a couple of things fairly simply. 100 copper in these. Let's see. I got a whole bunch of stuff laying around, so hopefully we have everything still. But I should be able to build everything, and if not, I can for sure steal. We don't need these right here, and I don't need those either. I can for sure steal parts out of this factory because, well, this factory right here makes most of the stuff that we need. So what we need to do real quick, look at the numbers once again. So in here, the copper powder is pretty simple. It's 300 copper ingots will make 50 copper powder. So just in that right there, it makes so much sense to manufacture the copper powder on site or as close to where you're mining your ores as you possibly can, because you're going to be able to condense down a considerable amount of ore into a single, little thing. So that's a really good deal. So today what we're going to try to do is we're going to take 1,800 copper ore. We're going to turn it into 3,600 copper ingots, and then we're going to drop that down to being a single 600 copper powder belt. So that's how that's all going to work. It's pretty easy, pretty simple, at least with the way this whole mess is going to be, because of the fact that, well, this number, the way this one turned out, is going to be exactly 36 of these foundries, and then whatever it takes to do that after that. And exactly 36 works out to be 12 in rows of 3, which is exactly what's sitting right there and right, where is it at? This one, and that one over there. So the only thing I have to do is split those two iron belts into, well, whatever we need in order to be able to do this. So let's get our friend on, get the Easy Builder on. Hey, Easy Builder, thank you. Let's see how much of this we can get done without tearing things up. So I already kind of guesstimated and laid this out where I wanted this. So again, shouldn't be too hard to do other than getting your points back. So I think all I had was that, right? And smart. I love this mod so much. The reason why I set this up like that is so that I knew exactly where I needed to put those, because I already kind of had this floor built out a little bit, but not really. You know, it's kind of nice to be able to remember things where you had it. So we do that all the way down. There's the smelters. So these amount of smelters, this is going to be the fun part because of how this is going to work. I'm going to actually have to redirect that copper over to here. That copper that's off of those two guys is going to feed this back one. So let's start over here and see what we can't do about making this work. So the simpleness about this, first off, is that I don't want you to use those. So hit the mod. Oh, they changed the... Hang on a minute. Wait, they changed the... I'm going to have to remember what the mapping is. Hang on one second. Okay, yeah, no, the mod just kind of recently updated and has gotten considerably better, but they changed the key mapping to something else. So I don't want to do that. I want to do... Yeah, they added pipes too, which I'm kind of very excited to kind of play with. So auto max unlock 2, auto max unlock, well, that's pipe. Auto max unlock 3, auto max unlock 3. Because I kind of like to save as much as I can on these, and I think I might not have enough steel anyway either way. So let's see what we can do about making this work. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. So what does this look like that close all the way down? You're going to run out of power. I forgot to put the power lines down. I always do that too. Where are we? 11? 12. Am I going to like that close? Yeah, do it. Okay, cool. So then the next thing we're going to do while I'm thinking about it, get me some power. Well, it looks like they kind of sorted out the settings on that mod now, so I might not even have to do that anymore. So it'll let me pick whatever belt I want going into the machine and whatever belt I want going in between. So that is actually really cool. I'll have to check that out and figure out how to make it work. So this is pretty simple. Like I said, it's just lining up a bunch of things, but because of the way this is going to function, I think it's exactly a third a number of the foundries that we need is going to be how many constructors that we need, because basically three foundries are going to be able to feed. So like if I bring this out here and I do something like this, and then I say you're going to be, yeah, it's going to be 100. So I don't know how much steel belt I have. I'll probably have to go get some more of this stuff. But essentially, go do this. This is where the fun part goes, because I got to do all this kind of stuff by hand, but that's okay, no big deal. Essentially, 3 smelters into 1 constructor. So I now have to copy that all out all the way across all of this, and then we move up a floor and then plug all the stuff in and see what happens. So we'll do this. I think actually I'm going to stick the floor up real quick, or at least figure out where I want this floor to be. So I don't need that one. I want the next size down. So this one, that's a 4, that's a 4. Give me a real foundation. And then when we get done, we're going to have to start really thinking about actually like decorating this area, because I really need to quit being such a lazy bum. I think we're going to have a little bit of fun in the next couple of episodes, mainly because of the fact we're getting pretty close to done with the series, I think. So Nope, not that button. This button. It's gonna be pretty close to right there. I love that so much. Probably one short, right? Yeah, one short. The only time I wish is like that look down, or like that camera angle was a little different. Maybe I can change it. I don't know. I have to look in the settings. This mod is fantastic. Something like that should be base game. I mean, I know it. I know they're trying to make it very simple, but when you're trying to build on massive scales like this and continuously clicking over and over and over, and even like I said, even a zoop is better with the smart mod, because that's a 17 long run versus what zoop would be, which is right there. Zoop with smart allows you to go, I think, for like ever. So it's really what it should do. There should be no stop. And I think actually the smart mod zoop does something even better, which is, no, it works with this. So like I can do this and then drag it, which you can't do with the other zoop. So anyhow, I'm gonna
relaying message. Hello, this is paternal figure.
Where is this one? Oh, you're right there. Great.
Find a cure. Doctors say that the only remedy is alien artifacts.
Great. I get to listen to that thing. Anyhow, I'm going to plumb those all down, pick it up, get the top sorted. Like I said, I think probably what we're going to do is we'll just have a single constructor sitting like wherever this is above those, and then go that direction, and then take those parts and dump them on a belt that heads that way. So there's already a belt that's headed out over that direction that can go that way, and all I got to do is just hook it into this. So let me get that sorted, and I will be back with you guys when we get ready to plug it in. That should be the last one, I do believe, as far as our power poles are going to be concerned. I just need to go back and set all of the instructions in these. So where's my friend? Hey, give me my friend. He's right there. So boop. And boop. And down here real quick. I still use the heck out of this part of that mod. I do wish that certain other things were a little easier with the area actions, but it definitely does the work for certain things. So we'll say bottom right there so that we don't get any of those, and then I just say set recipe copper powder, and that should have taken care of everybody. Good deal. And then we just clear. So all right, now we should be ready to go. Everything should be on. We've got lights on everything. Everything's good. All I got to do now is go plumb in some stuff. I went ahead and hooked it up to a line at the very end over there, wherever we're looking at. That's the other factory. I didn't know I could see it from here. That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah. All right. We're gonna hook this up. There's a bin over there that we're gonna mess with. I'm basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run like crazy once we turn this thing on over to that area and run a quick janky belt from where this ends over to the factory over there so that we can start producing these things, because I'm not going to let 600 copper sit there and not do anything for a little while. So first thing we need to do is we need to bring in, well, I need to bring in some of this stuff to some of this stuff, and I don't know why I did what I did with this. This is going to really suck. Let me think. I need, which one was which? I think the iron belt on top is the one I need to split. That one. Okay, that works out. So that means you can just, that means why are you, oh, nuts. I got nailed by the scroll again. Where is it? I gotta fix that. Give me a minute. Okay, luckily it was just right here. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so this one right here should be exactly 300, so it can go in there and go to work. And then we're gonna run this over to the other ones and split it. So you need to be a splitter there. Come down here, please. We'll do you about right there. That's Horrible. What are you doing? I mean, I guess. Move it over so it looks a little nicer. There, there, there. Those can split. Looking good. So then what I need to do is we're going to have to bring that one up and over this one and then go around and in. So let's see what we can do with this. So like, again, 1, 2. I'm going to have to put a thing in this one. Hey, no, right. Dang it. You're going to make me do this, aren't you? And then we'll do that over and then down. Hey, quit. You to there. You into there, and that should turn those on. Man, there's too much stuff floating right here. Right there. Since it should already work with this, I hear some copper being produced. Beautiful. And then that can come back down to about right there. No, we're not going to do that. We don't do that. You can come down like right there. We got stuff floating out the end of this yet? Yep, there goes some copper powder. Beautiful. It's not going to take a whole lot, and I did kind of change the way I thought some of that stuff happen, or it's like I said, it just turned out to be easier to just extend it all the way down and then break every third one and send it through the ceiling. So that looks really nice. I like it. We got to drag one more over here. Let me get that sorted. And wow, that was terrible. Fix this. We'll be running towards the other end very shortly. Okay. Every floor is moving. We're just going to have to wait on everything is backed up and going and doing what it needs to do, but this should be making, once it gets sorted and everything's figured out, that should be making us about 600 out of that's 10%. Golly, no, 20, whatever. And we've got plenty of decent. Now, again, the reason why I'm using these over refineries is that number right there. We were going to need 320 refineries that would need something like 30 megawatts apiece. This way, granted, you're not getting the 2.5 times, you're getting 2 times. We have so much iron laying around and so much extra copper that I think we're going to be better off doing it this way. Again, this is going to save us so much power. So much power. Plus, I think we only need a grand total like 56 of these things. I think, hang on. Or 120, excuse me. 120 of them. I don't know what, 56. That's easy math. But again, now you can kind of see why I want to do the easy math with these things, because the refineries were going to be something like 37 point some whatever per machine, whereas everything you put in these is very simple, very easy. It's going to be in the hundreds, the 50s, and the 25s. If you come upstairs here, it's in the hundreds. 300 into 50 instead of, like I said, 37 point whatever the heck it is as far as the refineries go. So I need to make a run to the other excuse me, I need to go to the other end of this mess and get this hooked up into a container or something. I might just shut this off for a little bit, see what it does, but actually let's just go ahead. We'll kill this for right now and let it back up. I want all of these to kind of back up and get to work. I don't know what this stuff stacks to. I'd really love to know what it stacks to. Whatever. We're going to let this kind of back up for a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and go over there and get, well, over there and get that line kind of ran over into a kind of a decent way so we can turn on one side of that factory and start making nuclear pastas. Granted, at a quarter of what we're planning, but at least we need to start making them. So let this set a little bit, and then I'll be back with you guys once we're ready to move over there to plug in and watch one side of that sucker go a boing. Alrighty, that's going to be the business end of a whole bunch of stuff eventually, but it's backed up, it's ready to go, and I happen to have a whole bunch on me for whatever reason. Apparently there was quite a bit sitting on that belt, but we can go ahead and get rid of all of that, and we can get rid of this, and we can do a few things. So I am going to right now just down and dirty run one of these in over to there and pick the, I believe it's going to be this side. I'm going to have to do some load balancing on these, so and then there's a whole structure that's going to be built over here because we still have to build a factory that's going to produce, well, roughly the same size factory actually for those 3 nodes. So we'll have some of that stuff come out of here. So let's just go ahead and dump a, can I have that please? Do the worst. I know it's terrible. Nothing like dragging a belt for ever and ever for just to be able to tear it down later on, but doing that will deliver a whole lot of copper powder to this one side, which is not on, so we'll let it buffer up and do what it needs to do. But I should now have at least a little bit of copper powder running out on that belt. That looks good. And that should meet its way up over around the corner over here and do that. Awesome. Cool. Well, this should go to one side. Like I said, I will have to, later on what's going to have to happen is we're going to be bringing probably 600 belts in here. 600 and like 100 or 200, forget what exactly the number is going to be. Essentially, we need 500 to go to either side. So we're going to let this run. I'm going to have to do some belt balancing out there in the initial area when everything gets done. So like when the next factory that exists out here, we'll do a whole bunch of belt balancing, inputting into the rest of that to make it all work. So I guess now what I do is we make sure this whole side is set. And you can have some of that. I need to hook all these up. And then we jump down the center. And we do about right there. Ow. Ooh, I almost killed myself. That's nice. So this side should be on, ready to go. And this is where we're going to see just some seriously nasty stuff. So this one side at max, when it all takes off and goes to work, is going to see something like 7,500 megawatts of power go out of the system just on this one side. However, what I'm probably going to do is as we get this going, I'm going to kind of try to time them so that they don't do that. But I did put in a nice little switchy switch over here to control both of the sides so that we can actually use this as backup for the rest of the system should we have a problem. So away we go. There goes the spinny. Oh, that looks cool. Is that it? Oh, we got to do it again. Oh, we got to do the little one now. These things are cool. I'm sorry. This is just gorgeous, cool stuff. There's our first one. Well, there should actually be like 2 or 3. But there we go. Nuclear pastas, ladies and gentlemen. We'll let this sucker warm up and run for a little while. I'm going to work on trying to get the other ones of these going. We may do one for an episode or we may not. Just depends. There's an awful lot of just what we just did over and over and over again. I will record when we build the one that's out here. But I think for right now, what I want to go do is I want to go over here. See, like, we can offset those so that they don't run all at the same time, which will kind of try to help save a little bit on the power, but I think we should have some stuff going on. Go up here. It's kind of exciting. I always love getting these lit up. Alrighty, well, we're making them. We're not making them very fast, but we're making them. That should be 2.5 a minute. And by the time we're all said and done with this whole system and this building and everything over here, we should be making them about 10 per minute, which means 100 minutes, whatever. It doesn't really matter. As long as we're trickling them into the system, they will be getting put into the box over there and slowly stuffed into that space elevator. And then after that, we're going to put them in a bunch of, well, we're going to put them in one awesome sink. So whole reason why I'm interested in those things, guys, they're a little over 500,000 points each, considering that we're going to be able to have excess for those other cubes over there. And this, if I can keep the power running, we should be making somewhere in the neighborhood of, well, I forget, something like 1,000,000 points every minute, if that, if I'm lucky, if I'm careful with all the stuff that's happening. And if we can get that done, we should be able to get some nice little parts out of the awesome shop once the thing goes. So I think for right now, I'm going to do a lot of work off camera. I am going to say that I'm going to be on vacation next week, so I'm trying to come up with something for us to do very simply for next episode, just so that I can get it kind of over with and done. We may go look at an area we haven't looked at yet. I don't know yet, but for now, I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. We're making pastas in the pasta factory. Bye.